teammates on the front row. A couple of superstars when it comes to road racing. Connor Zilich in the 1, Van Gisbergen in the 9. We are green at Circuit of the Americas.
It's like a pretty even start. Shane maybe actually with a little bit of an advantage, but Connor's going to be in the preferred position.
Look at Austin Hill down to the bottom. Blue and white 21 trying to make it happen. 3 wide off of 1.
Oh, Austin's going to have a good drive, but Shane's going to be in the right position here in turn 2.
Oh, look at Austin Hill. He's going to stick out there. Will he slot into second? Zilich is back beside him, and now they're going to have to give it up there. What a move by Zilich.
Oh, and Austin did a great job. He had a really bad angle on the first set of tire pack in turn 3. Did you say he was able to get it back together and really didn't lose any spots right there?
The balance of patience and aggression. We'll talk about it all day long. SVG away with the lead in front of Zilich. Hill is 3rd. That's Allgaier that slots into 4th. And right behind him, Carson Quapple in the blue and white 91.
I can't believe everybody made it through the S's the first lap. I thought for sure somebody would get hip checked, as you pointed out in the pre-race show, but everybody seemed like they made it through.
I think they were just so afraid of it. We saw it in practice.
Get worse. Here we go.
At your wheel.
Toyota onboard camera riding with Brent Crews, 17-year-old from Hickory, North Carolina, making his first ever start in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series and under attack.
Sammy Smith says hello and welcome to the series and goodbye.
Got a race for the lead right here. It doesn't look like Connor's in the preferred position coming around. See if he can set him up now going into turn 19.
Well, he was dogging him through the carousel down to 19, this up the hill to turn 20, and the left-hander back to the start-finish line.
One thing to watch, and it happened in qualifying yesterday, is that the 1 car of Connor Zilich is not using near as much racetrack as everybody else. He seems just a little tighter on the exit of all the corners. That tells me that he's driving a little different or that his car is just generating more grip.
If you're Austin Hill right now, you're getting this chance to sort of follow those two, see where you stack up, and it's easy to be tricked though early on when you're on newer tires like this. The brakes are working well, but where these two really excel is as we get later into this run. If they start to pull away, it's just they somehow are able to have this speed early on in the run and then keep the rear tires on it. But if I'm Austin Hill, I'm loving this. I'm keeping right up with them, keep the pressure on, see what you can learn, and see maybe you can actually stay with them through the long run.
See what you can learn and build your confidence.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can hang anywhere close to this duo, it's got to do so much for you mentally. And, you know, when you look at his history at this track, Hill's been really good here, so not shocking to see him in this position at 3rd, but hanging right with the front runners and the favorites coming in, no doubt.
Yeah, and this is the area of the track that we saw. See how much tighter that the 1 car is than the 9 car right there. He's just able to run just a little narrower entry through the middle, the exit of all those corners, and he just rolls up a little bit of speed. It looks to me like the 9 struggling through that section. As you see, Austin Hill is right behind Connor Zilich here.
As we go on the O'Reilly Auto Parts onboard here, looking back at Austin Hill, one of the things I did notice there through turn 14, though, you talk about how tighty Connor Zilich is, even SVG, but Austin, as he's under threat now from Justin Allgaier, had a big slide, and you do not want to do that. What penalizes these tires the most is when you see those big lateral slides out of the rear. You can spin them going forward, but you don't want to have those big slides. That saps performance out of the tire.
Yeah, watch the 7 right here. He had a really good exit. It was all over the back of Austin Hill. He's going to make a move. See how hard Austin races him. Oh, he actually narrows up his entry right here. Going to put himself in a vulnerable position.
Here comes a hip check opportunity, Parker, as he slides down
it's
inside
early.
of him. Allgaier on the move. He's able to make the position up to 3rd. And waiting in the wings, 91, Carson Quapple, who's having a great start to the weekend.
I can't help but think, Parker, you pointed out Austin Hill sliding the back, the handling of that car. We're on lap.
It's like a light switch.
Well, yeah, we're on lap 2. And you already see the handling of that car starting to go away at this track. Really hard on tires.
And he was the one, Austin Hill, yesterday on the radio that talked about you have to take care of your tires and they're going to go away over the long haul, and reference the heat and the impact that would have on these race cars today.
Carson Quapple right there behind in the number 91. You see him starting to put a lot of pressure on Austin Hill as well. What a run he's having. Not a car he's been in so far this year, first race in the 91.
Yeah, for DGM, prepared by JRM. So,
That's not confusing.
Yeah.
Can I buy a vowel, please?
Junior Motorsports prepared 6 cars that come here this weekend when you include that 91. So huge effort for that organization. Got 2 up front right now. 1 there and 3rd. Actually, the top 3 are JRM, and obviously that 91 for DGM prepared by JRM.
Off and rolling in Austin, Texas, and this move was key for Shane Van Gisbergen to get ahead of the curve and take the lead. 10 road course starts for him, and he's led in each and every one, the second driver to accomplish that. Early laps in Austin, Texas for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. A lot of pushing and shoving going on.
A lot of dogging going on right now.
Oh my gosh. I mean, we've seen it throughout the field. A couple of guys went off while we were away. You saw it side by side, but this battle for the lead just not going away.
Clearly the 1 car of Connor Zilich is a little bit quicker than Shane Van Gisbergen, but he can't get by. He gets in the right position, almost gets beside him, and then because of the way the track is laid out, he's in the wrong position for the next corner. We'll see. This is probably the best run he's had on the last turn. It's going to show Shane the nose. See how hard Shane races him down in here.
Let's see if Shane does his old crossover move that we saw.
We're going to save that, I think, for, for the final stage. Yeah.
But I wondered if he would. Well, it's a little bit.
There's so much room up there.
Yep.
It's a great place for the crossover, right? New leader. Look who's out front. Connor Zilich started on the pole, lost the top spot at the green flag, top of the hill, but he's got it back now 6 laps in and pacing the 9 of Shane Van Gisbergen.
I think clearly the 1's quicker, but this is a great position for Shane because he can now figure out where was he beating me and how was he able to do that. And we talked about, earlier in the race how much tighter of a line the 1 car was running. Well, when you get behind and you see that, you might find some grip if you're Shane Van Gisbergen, being able to follow behind. As you see now, it almost looks to me like Connor's managing that race, not pushing his car too hard, trying to save the tires to the end of the stage.
Let's go back to the start of the race. William Sawalich in the 18, middle of your screen, orange and white Toyota has a problem.
All right, so they all condense down into turn one. He shoots over the inside. It gets stacked up. He gets to the back of Austin Green right there. And that is the danger with everyone going to the inside to be protective, be defensive. You then get in those stack ups. And sometimes the best move there is to go to the outside because you can just let everyone stack up on the bottom and shoot around, as we see Jeremy Clements lose it there off of five, into the gravel. But he got it rolling again.
Yeah, Jeremy got rolling again. Obviously way behind, but did not get stuck, stayed on the lead lap.
That's tough for Jeremy Clements, who's had a couple of rough weeks to begin 2026. Zilich got the lead, starting to put a little gap between him and second place Shane Van Gisbergen.
7/10 that lap.
He's
Connor
pushing.
went quick. Yeah,
You see that
7/10 that lap.
But look at what they've done now. Austin Hill got back to third, but he's already 3.5 seconds back. Allgaier 4.7 behind, and Mayer now up to fifth.
Mayer's got some really good lap times going. If he can let this race run out a little bit, these guys running side by side will play into his favor.
See a little damage there for Raja Karuth. I think that happened when you saw that stack up that William Zilich got the damage in. He was behind William.
The restarts are an epic place to make up a lot of ground, and you can also end your day there.
Yes.
All in the same restart.
You know, philosophy-wise, though, if you think about the mentality coming into this race and you're Raja Karuth,
Ross.
2 top 10 finishes, you get stage points. You just want to manage the afternoon and bring it home. And different thought process here for Ross Chastain. Didn't qualify great yesterday, as we reported before the race, but he is aggressive now in that bright green 32, racing Taylor Gray.
Yeah, I don't think Taylor was ready for that. You know, he had just gotten past the corner before, lost a little bit of momentum, and then Ross threw it in turn 6B.
And watch how this pass is going to take 4 or 5 corners to complete. Now he's on the outside. He'll try and cross back over. No, he'll just stay the outside again. Use the paint out here for grip. But he started that 4 corners before, and that's what happens through that whole section is you end up on the outside, then back to the inside, and you're just waiting to complete it. He was unable to as he falls in behind Taylor Gray.
Let's get an update on Chastain, 17th right now, Dylan.
Yeah, and maybe part of the reason why we saw that big lock up there was because he flat spotted the right front on lap 3. So as you guys know, sometimes when that happens, it always seems to find that spot when the tire rotates and wants to slide even more. So we'll just have to keep an eye on if that gets worse for the 32, but he may have some issues getting that car stopped because of that flat spot.
Well, that's so frustrating when that happens to you, because you lose a tremendous amount of braking capability. Ooh, that started super early. That's a slow corner, so even though you lock it up there, it's not as bad. It's the high-speed corners when you see them lock up a wheel that it creates so much damage to the tire. But it looks to me like Ross is struggling now. He wasn't able to get by Gray, and now it looks like Zilich, even with all that damage, putting the heat on him.
He had a lot of bouncing in the front end there through 6 into 6A when he had that lock up. I'm just watching the body language of that car, and it just seems to be pretty soft, bouncing around a lot, which is hard to control. You want a car that has that for long run speed, but when you try to turn faster laps on newer tires, it can still keep the platform of the race car that helps your braking. It helps you be able to change direction. It just doesn't quite seem to have that right now in that race car.
William Zilich, a reminder, don't ever give up on someone. I mean, opening lap incident, but he's staying in the game. He's back outside the top 15 right now. Test your luck and make your power play by heading to your local lottery retailer to get in the game for tonight's estimated Powerball jackpot of $238 million. Halfway through, opening stage, Circuit of the Americas for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Connor Zilich showing the way. Shane Van Gisbergen is second. Austin Hill, Justin Allgaier, Sam Mayer, the top five. And it's time to go full throttle with sound gear. No commentary, just pure racing. Wherever sound is a problem, Sound Gear has the solution. Scan the QR code to head to soundgear.com and learn more. Let's ride along with the race leader, Connor Zilich.
Lap number 10.
Man, there's a lot of wheel hop right there getting into turn one. You hear him get on the brakes and the engine, the tone of it go up and down.
Still by 6, 71, 52 out back.
I love that noise as they go through 6A and 6B. You hear the exhaust, going off of the wall right there, reverberating.
Loud, quiet, yeah.
It shows you how close they get. You heard a couple, you mentioned, almost wheel hop. That's when you're at just the max of threshold braking in these race cars. You'll get a little bit of that rear just starting to lock up and hop a little bit, but manageable amount as he's not been able to just get away from SVG. SVG has kept him in check.
No, but if we go back on board and can look at Connor's hands as he's going through the corners, very relaxed, very slow movements of the steering wheel, which tells me he's not pushing the car right to the very limit, right? He's just keeping the grip underneath him and I think trying to manage these gaps.
What about this race for 12? Sammy Smith in the 8. 87 is Austin Green.
We'll go back and get a look at those hands on the steering wheel, I think now, right?
I want to see how calm they are. You were so enthusiastic about it. Oh, yeah, look at that. Yeah, a little stretch.
It's a Rusty Wallace the arm shake right there.
That's like the Crews is set. It's 70 and a 65, and no one else is on the road, right?
Kevin Harvick goes to the ovals, right? You'd take his hand off and stretch it?
Maybe.
I watched a lot more racing during that period than you did. You were in the races.
It just, if we go back, when you think back to riding on board with him yesterday in qualifying, he was sawing on the wheel, really working the car over. You see him here still pushing the car, but I think he's just managing that gap behind him. Hear him have to roll in the throttle on exit, trying to keep the wheel spin down.
Got Baltazar Kuzman here. Slow on the racetrack.
You couldn't wait to jump in.
Parker was wanting to say Baltazar's name.
To go, and there he is. I mean, you just wanted to throw it out there. He is the first driver from Argentina to start a race in the top 3 series of NASCAR. Made his debut here at COTA a season ago, and Baltazar had some troubles yesterday in practice and qualifying, did make the show. 25 years old, and he's full of personality. We met him in the garage last year, and he's a fun guy.
Parker worked all night to say that name, but he didn't have the nugget that you had to follow up at the end of it.
I'm here to help. It's a
call
team
what's
effort.
happening.
Take a look and see what happened to Baltazar here. Honestly, it just looks like he got loose, chased it around, probably hit those curbs, and that made his problem even worse.
Yeah, off at 19 there, the track actually falls away from you a little bit, and it's going downhill. And so if you do get that loose early on as you transfer from 18 and all the weight transfer of the car goes the opposite direction, it sometimes can get very sideways, and he lost it right there down the hill.
Jesse Love is the reigning champ, and he's been very quiet first 3 races of the year. 6th place here the last couple of seasons, 8th right now, Kim.
Yeah, started in the 11th position, like you mentioned, Adam, running 8th right now. The team, though, I talked to Danny Stockman, the crew chief, he said, we expect a top 5 day. He's a good little road racer. So what are they saying on the radio right now? Listen to the 2 in-car audio compliments of Starkey.
Focus a little bit more on exit value, buddy. More exit value, less roll speed through the center. Get pointed sooner. I need to slow your min speed down some, about everywhere. Your min speed through 4 is what's creating your exit or your issue in 5. Slow your min speed down.
So they also told him you're good through the S's except 4 and 5. You kind of heard that there. But they also told him you've got too much shape on that part of the track. So Parker, if you're a driver and you hear the command that you have too much shape, what are you going to do to resolve that?
It's a great question. It's a lot of feedback. What they mean by too much shape is basically just trying to make too much of a corner out of that whole S's section. You almost want to straight line them more, be straighter through them, try not to go out and in so much through there. And then when they reference the min speed and what they want him to do there, basically, if you can imagine his speed trace, you want it to look more like a check mark and less like a rounded speed trace in some respects. Basically get the car stopped, pointed, and then accelerate. And that's one of the things that these two up front do so well, is they're incredibly precise with their min speed points, their apexes, and it allows them to get the car straight and get back to that throttle, which just takes care of those rear tires.
And I think a great way to explain that is instead of, you want the corner to be shaped like a diamond, you want to have like a point, turn.
I thought my description was pretty good.
Oh, I was confused by yours.
Oh, okay.
That's why I felt
That's
like
good to know. If you're confused, then nobody knows what I was talking about.
Look at the win percentage for these two when it comes to road racing in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Zilich has been ridiculous, never finished outside the top 5, winning 6 of 8, 75%, as good as it's ever been at this level in NASCAR. And here's something to introduce as we watch these two out front, coming to 6 to go. You know, strategy going to be part of the equation. And while stage points are going to be enormous for all the series regulars, two guys out front aren't running for points. So how do they handle the end of the stage? We'll break that down when we get there. Meanwhile, the battle for 4th, Sam Mayer getting after Justin Allgaier.
Here he goes down into 12, just peeking there. Justin couldn't commit to the corner because he saw that, probably was alerted by a spotter. That made an awkward exit for Sam, couldn't quite get the run out of the corner that he wanted. You got more, Dylan?
Yeah, well, when you guys talk about points, the 41 team is a group that needs some stage points. They have not scored any this year due to an adventurous race in Daytona, and then obviously the Atlanta, when they were 3 laps down, they played from behind all day. So I think the good news is this car has been really good all week. And if you remember last year, they unloaded here, both Haas cars did, and it was a struggle just to kind of get them to go down the racetrack. They really had to thrash to try to find a setup that worked. Came back to finish 3rd, and he and Sheldon Creed both feel like the cars are better this year. So good signs early for the 41 and in a spot to get their first stage points of the year.
Well, and that organization makes the move from Ford to Chevy.
Just a heads up.
They seem very comfortable with that move, and it seems to really be energizing what they're able to do on track. Sheldon got the win last week, and Mayer was on the pole. Could be some pit stops coming up when we return side by side on CW with Connor Zilich leading at COTA. Coming off a turn 18, Connor Zilich leading at Circuit of the Americas. 0.8 of a second in front of Shane Van Gisbergen. There'll be 4 laps to go, stage 1, when they come around this time. Raja Caruth slowly, methodically picking off spots. Drives by the 96 of Anthony Alfredo, driver 88 up to 14th in the running order.
Yeah, I think he's doing a great job here. I was texting with him earlier today and just, sort of talking about what did he feel yesterday. And he said, there's a couple of things I know I was doing wrong that I could see and that I wanted to do better. But then also, this is not my strong suit, but I just want to learn. And I think I can just move us forward. And that's exactly what he's done. And when you have forward progress like this at a road course, when the tires are falling off, the brakes are hot, it just gives you so much confidence as it builds on itself, because you feel like, okay, as this race goes on, I could just get better and better, and I can see myself getting towards the front.
He looks significantly more comfortable. Like just watching the car movements today, the placement of the car through the S's. I think Raj's learned a lot over the last 24 hours. He's applying that, doing a great job.
Pit stop for his teammate, Sammy Smith, on the pit lane. His car had drifted, and maybe it wasn't where he wanted. Not sure what could be going on here, but this could be, scheduled stop to make an adjustment. Yeah. You flip the stage, gain a little track position when everybody else pits at the end of the stage under the caution. We would anticipate these drivers up front will flip the stage as well, because there's no doubt Zilich and Van Gisbergen are not chasing points, and we continue to see the connection for 4th on track. Allgaier just hanging on to that spot in front of Sam Mayer.
Well, Sam's been working him over for 6 or 7 laps. We heard Allgaier mention right before we went to break that he might have been having some fuel pressure issues. It looks like he's recovered from that. Oh, Sam's getting really good drive off of that corner. But I've watched Justin here all day long run a wider line than most guys. I don't know what he's found, but he is, even in qualifying, he had like a super wide line around there.
And is able to hold off Sam, which around the outside of 18, that's really difficult to do. Puts you the inside of 19. And that is not the preferred way that you go into sort of that carousel. You want to have a shallower entry typically, but let's take a listen to his radio.
Have any more issues back there that y'all can see?
No, it looks good so far. Just entering the carousels it.
Copy.
Keep you updated if it gets worse.
Copy.
So that could be a little bit that we've heard maybe he's having fuel pressure issues, and that could have been that stumble there out of 15 towards the carousel that was as SVG gets right to the rear bumper here in Zilich.
They're racing on track and should be racing to pit road this time around. Pit road closes with 2 laps to go in the stage. Both these guys can pit no problem before the pit lane closes, as they put distance between themselves and 3rd place Austin Hill. Sheldon Creed had to come a little bit earlier because pit road would have been closed by the time he comes. Scheduled green flag pit stops here. Brent Crews also giving up a spot inside the top 10 to get green flag service as we head toward the end of this opening stage. And Ross Chastain, Cup regular, not running for points. He's going to flip the stage to gain some track position when we begin stage 2. Also saw Taylor Gray in doing the same.
I think that Shane caught Connor sleeping right there. Connor kind of managing the tires and knowing they're going to pit here soon. Because as soon as, Connor ran a quicker lap last time by. Shane snuck in there, got by him, and it's going to put him on the right side of this. And they are both up coming to pit road.
He went so wide.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's not going to pit.
But look at the gap he's got here. He's got about a 2nd gap, which will benefit them in the stop.
Let's go to Kim Kuhn, Progressive Pit Road.
And as expected, both SVG and Connor Zilich short pitting this stage for track position. This is absolutely in the playbook for crew chief Philip Bell. He told me yesterday, all we're here to do is win. Right now, SVG very quiet on the radio, no major complaints. A happy driver for the number 9 as they take 4 fresh Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel, Dylan.
Connor Zilich happy as well. Crew chief Rodney Childers asked for a balance update, and Connor basically just blipped the radio, which I will take to mean the car's pretty good. So they'll change 4 tires. Rodney wanted to make sure they get the brake ducts cleaned, which you see there, and Zilich is down and away.
The other big thing in this situation, just make sure you don't speed, you don't get a penalty, because you've established such an advantage over the competition. You can't give it away with something silly. 19 hold serve coming off the pit lane. He jumps out in front of the 1 of Connor Zilich.
And here's the crazy part. They had such a lead. They come back out basically with SVG in the top 10.
That's remarkable.
It's not unusual to see, as Austin Hill has inherited the lead. He's obviously going for the points. That's big. He's separated himself from Allgaier and Sam Mayer. it's a great, opportunity to get a stage win and 10 points in the bucket.
Yeah, and you mentioned Allgaier being right behind him. He's done the best job this year at acquiring stage points, the most of anybody in the field, and going to put some more in the bucket again today.
Well, you think about Allgaier last week and his inability to finish the race, gets caught up in a big accident, but because he got those stage points, it really minimizes the damage at the end of the night in Atlanta, in a spot to do it again. And when you talk about stage victories this year, just give them to RCR. They won 3 of the 4 coming in. Austin Hill sweeps at Daytona. Jesse Love gets one last week at Atlanta, and Hill in position to do it again. They'll come off turn 20. And it'll be 1 lap to go in this opening stint of the race. Allgaier, we said, in position to take advantage. Dylan did the report on Sam Mayer, and they've been kind of on the outside looking in when it comes to stage points, but he's got a good opportunity here. And then I look right behind them. Brandon Jones had a great qualifying run, got a top 10 last week, a nice bounce back after disappointment at Daytona. He's going to get some stage points. Same for our reigning champ, Jesse Love. And Carson Quapple, who's been good getting stage points this year, up there in the 6th spot.
As we go on board here, Zilich right behind SVG, and ahead of them it's going to be Raja Karuth, who's hoping that they just don't catch him if he can hold on to those points. That's a really tough place to be, as Zilich goes a little wide.
Wrong with the brakes, like, I
don't know. Long on the brakes. That's not something you want to hear this
Not early in the race.
No, that means a long pedal, which is essentially the pedal gets squishy and goes further than you want, and it doesn't quite have the braking power.
Point on the line here. Sam Mayer all over Justin Allgaier. Can he make the pass?
But again, he's in that same position. It's like Justin's willing to let them have that inside because he has the momentum on the exit.
I was going to say, he has to do the crossover here. Justin gets defensive and blocks it appropriately. And now he's in a really tough position. And basically, the next chance he's going to have is down into turn 20, the final corner. Unless Justin goes way out wide like that.
Well, he's letting him have that,
Yeah.
though. It's like he likes the way his car feels on the outside of that corner, which seems odd. They're going to run wide here. Sam trying to cross him over and get back inside of him. Just has good drive off, though. Sam,
There he goes.
shoots it in.
Great battle for second in the stage, pulling away from that duo, Austin Hill, 24th career stage win, 3rd of the year. And for second, Mayer gets by and gets the runner-up spot in front of Allgaier. Brandon Jones gets points, and so does Jesse Love. Look at the rest of the top 10. How about Corey Day? Matched his career best Saturday night at Atlanta, getting some stage points. Austin Green, Raja Karuth.
Great job by Corey Day. First time here at COTA.
And look at this. We know pit stops are coming. And the old veteran from New Zealand said, I'll take the top spot and lead us down the pit lane. Van Gisbergen will be out front when everything cycles as we wrap stage 1 at COTA. NASCAR on the CW is brought to you by KFC. It's finger licking good. Toyota. Let's go places. And by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people. One stage down, Circuit of the Americas for the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. We're live on CW. Boy, the sights are outstanding.
Parker
huh?
asked what it would cost for me to wear that. And I said, there's not enough.
There's not
the
enough?
Powerball's not going to do it for me.
I thought you showed up in it.
Hey, if you were that, we'd call you a power mover. You know what I mean? In honor of Powerball.
Yeah.
But such a great weekend. Warm temperatures, mid to upper 80s, and great time to come out and watch at an awesome facility.
What a shock from Atlanta. I mean, 40 wind, terrible. The perfect weather here this weekend.
How about Shane Van Gisbergen, despite the fact that he flips the stage, has run every lap today inside the top 10. It'll cycle to him, and a good start to this race. Great weekend so far for Austin Hill. Delivers in practice, nice job in qualifying, and able to get the stage win after those guys that are also going to run on Sunday came down pit road to flip the stage.
He's so good on these road courses, especially this one. If you think back to the last few at the end of the race in the battle for the win, he was always there, it seemed like.
Now you've got to execute on the pit lane. Progressive pit road is open. Hill leading them down. Here they are, Kim Kuhn.
Also see Justin Allgaier down pit road. Actually ran out of fuel towards the end of that last lap of the stage. Said the 41 would have never gotten to me if I hadn't run out of fuel. He said tight middle, not enough forward drive, 4 fresh Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel. You see the work on the right going on the 21. Tight in the slow sections, loose on the fast sections. Same thing they were battling in practice. They came in the points leader, wanted to leave. Today the points leader, that stage win will certainly help, Dylan.
Well, Kim, for what it's worth, Sam Mayer thought Justin Allgaier was crushing them off the corner with forward drive. So that's his biggest request here on this stop, is to help him with some of that off of the corner. They'll change 4 tires for the 41 and complete service.
Number 1 pit stall for Sam Mayer after winning the pole last week. We look at the race off Progressive Pit Road, and that number 1 pit stall paying dividends. He jumps out in front of Hill. Then it's Brandon Jones, and Allgaier lost one. Restart to stage 2 when we return.
Ready to find your thrill? Scan the QR code below to enter the CW Switching Gear Sweepstakes for the chance to win a trip to Universal Orlando Resort's 4 amazing theme parks. Carla Metz joining you from the CW Garage right now. And no better time to get to know rookie Brent Crews than today. He is the youngest driver we've seen in the series since 2001. And hey, maybe he even listened to a little pop country to get ready for the race today. Here is his Race Fit Health Report brought to you by Brent Crews. Now, despite being so young, he's got experience all over the world, including on this track. Today, though, going to be his first on this specific layout. The question is, can his results be congruous with his past success? He told us just yesterday, he said, my goal today, Adam, though, is just to keep it clean, and so far he's doing that.
A whole lot to analyze here. And I love the thought process on how to manage the race, but I have to go to that favorite snack. If it's trail mix with a lot of M&Ms, does that kind of...
Well, that's a Jamie McMurray question, because
it defeats the purpose,
This man lives
it?
on that stuff, I'm pretty sure.
I'd say with that name, Brent Crews, get used to it, because you're going to see it for a long time. He's incredibly talented. He's got a decent run going here today.
Well, he's third because they chose to flip the stage. 12 drivers stay out at the caution because they had pitted there prior to pit road closing at the end of the stage. He was one of them, and he's going to be right up front mixing it up with the best of the bunch. And now let's listen in to Connor Zilich Radio Communications, presented by Starkey. Scan the QR code now.
What you got with the brakes?
I don't know, like it's pulling right and I feel like I've lost stopping power. And then like every now and then it'll go to the floor. It's pulling right in the brake zone. It feels like something's wrong with the left front, but I don't know.
Oh, so going to the floor means he's lost pedal, and we say that even if it's just a little bit long, right? Just if it's just an inch longer than normal, you're like, what's going to the floor? But the pulling to the right and going to the floor,
that's concerning.
It is very concerning.
Yeah, when it starts pulling to the right, that can be a mismatch in your
And you can
calipers.
hear it in his voice.
Yeah,
he knows there's a problem.
And you saw he had a little mistake into turn one when we were on board with him before the end of the stage, and so I think just that's one of those things that you definitely could start seeing some mechanical issues out of the brakes, especially when they start pulling and one starts to feel like it's reacting better than the other side.
Sam Mayer, who was second in that opening stage, won the race off pit road, will restart 13th. Stayed out to get the points, but pays the price restarting behind all those drivers that flipped the stage. Front row, Shane Van Gisbergen, Connor Zilich, Crews and Creed behind him. Then it's Sammy Smith and Ross Chastain. Everybody heading to the Echo Park Automotive Restart Zone. Echo Park Automotive, where car buying is easier, better, and happier.
Ton of momentum on the outside right there. Zilich, yeah, it seems like the outside, if you can get him clear, is going to be the preferred lane just because of the momentum of where that restone starts.
Brent Crews down the inside of SVG right here.
The 17-year-old came to play. Opens the door for Sammy Smith. 4 wide to the S's in turn 2.
Brent Crews.
Brent Crews takes over the top spot.
Oh, and Sammy Smith is in second place now. This will be fun to watch. Both Connor Zilich and Shane Van Gisbergen have to try to work their way through the field.
Man, Connor Zilich had such a gap when they went off to turn one, but it didn't matter. It all condensed down the center. They all went to the shortcut and got right beside him and forced him out there. What a move by Brent Crews, the 17-year-old.
I love the aggression out of Brent Crews. You've got the 2 best road course racers in NASCAR in front of you. He didn't care. He sent it in there, was able to get inside, controlled his car and got it slowed down, and now is the leader.
And Sam Mayer, despite the fact that he lost all that track position in the strategy exchange, is really doing a good job in the opening lap of stage 2 of picking them off. Look at that 41, getting after it. Restarted outside the top 10.
And there's your stage winner, Austin Hill, going to the inside of Taylor Gray. That's the penalty you pay for taking those stage points, but if you can make up the spots right now, it's the best time. New tires, everyone's condensed. You want to get as many spots, be as aggressive as you can without damaging that race car to move forward, to put yourself in best position to the end of this stage.
How wide Brent Crews goes right there. There's no out of bounds on the exit of these corners. A lot of grip, though, in the paint on the exit. Those guys will get out there intentionally to use that. Looks to me like the 19 struggling just a little bit here as he's got the lead. We'll see how the 1 car's brakes are. If he decides to make a move here, it looks like he does. Inside.
Sammy Smith goes outside. Connor Zilich patiently waiting in the wings.
Oh, Brent
he and
goes
Crews
way
are
out.
really good friends.
Well, that won't last long. You can do that for a couple of corners, but they'll get tired of that, and him being new, they won't tolerate it either.
And that puts Sammy in a really tough position down into turn 2.
By
Connor Zilich
one
is
on the
able
one.
to take advantage of it.
By one.
What great experience, though, for this young driver making his debut. New rules in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series this year. If you're 17, you can start a race on a road course or any track 1.25 miles and shorter. He's going to miss 4 races early this year as Brent Crews until he turns 18. Then he'll run full time. So when he's competing, he's got to get as many points as he can because his expectations are make the chase, run for a championship. He's young, he's humble, but he's not backing down.
And to your point, though, I found that was odd that they flipped the stage. You know, there's points on offer. First of the year for him, but obviously they feel like maybe the best opportunity is to put him up front and go for winning this race. He's showing that right now as he leads. As we take a look back at the restart, there he is to the inside of SVG, and Connor couldn't turn in because SVG got there. Then they're 3 wide, and you don't want to be where Connor is there. Sammy Smith.
It's
around the
incredible
outside
that they
of it,
all
too.
made it through there.
Yeah.
Also, Connor giving him room, and look, watch. You see Shane actually get to the inside of Connor, who is maybe a little conservative, and the 19 inside of Shane Van Gisbergen, and then runs him a little bit wide.
And look how far back Sammy Smith was when he started that braking zone and comes out second. That's the opportunity you have
Out there,
into turn 1 and why it's
Still
so
out there.
treacherous.
3 wide.
Turn 1 on the
3
replay,
wide.
turn 1 live, bottom right of your screen.
Minimal contact there, too. I mean, all 3 of those cars did a great job of giving each other room.
Let's get an update on a man out front. Crews doing his thing, Dylan.
Yeah, and a Toyota driver update for the 17-year-old Brent Crews. I can tell you why they flipped the stage in stage 1. It's simple. They think they can win this race. Seth Chofka told me earlier today, he said, we'll try to go for the points, but if we can see the 1 and the 9 and feel like our car is good enough, we're going to go for the win. So, yeah, they do have a lot of points to make up there as they're side-by-side out the back window there at Crews for the 2nd spot. They do have a lot of points to make up for this 19 car this year, going for the Drivers' Championship, but a good run is going to go a long way today.
Smoke for Zilich there. Shane Van Gisbergen gets by for 2nd. Sammy Smith comes by for 3rd. And you look at Crews out front. That was Connor radio there.
So you saw the big lockup on the right front there, which is not uncommon because you're braking half on the curb, half on the asphalt, but unusual to see out of Connor Zilich. And he mentioned how he felt like the car is pulling to the right. That can tell you that possibly the right side brakes are working more than the left side brakes, which then is going to make it even worse for those lockups. So he's definitely fighting some issues inside that race car.
He battled it yesterday in practice. Found a way to start on the pole, led laps early, but now finds himself in a tough battle here, riding 5th. Sheldon Creed also able to get by in that exchange.
Let's take a look again. You see, like as Connor, or as Parker said, he's got half that car on the paint, but the paint side normally has more grip. But you mentioned, like, it was pulling to the right. They've probably lost some braking capability in the left front of that car. Maybe that's why the pedal's long. It could be air in the system. There's a lot of factors. But one thing about it, it doesn't matter how great of a driver you are on a road course. If your brakes are not functioning perfectly, there's nothing you can do about it.
Brent Crews leading, first driver under 18 to lead at this level since Casey Atwood at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway in 1998. How about it? I said it early in this race, one of the phrases you will hear, the balance of patience and aggression. You know, Brent Crews had the lead, was falling back. They're taking advantage of him. 3 wide in the carousel, and Sheldon Creed paid the price.
Yeah, what happens here is when you start to get off rhythm, people can start to take real advantage of that, as we saw this for Brent Crews. So he's down, falling back as SVG got by him in 6A and 6B. Sammy Smith got by him into 12, and now Sheldon Creed comes in there, gives a little hip check.
Not bad.
Not bad, but this is where it gets aggressive. So this corner, this is sort of the carousel that they're heading towards. We look back once again out of 15. Here, you have a shallower entry, but this right here, you can't quite do that. It's an off-camber corner, and these cars just find themselves really floating out. Sheldon was, doing the common line. Brent tried a very shallow line, and the car was never going to turn, got together, and spun out Sheldon. I'm sure Sheldon's not excited about that.
A little bit of panic from the 19 because losing a couple of positions, just trying to gather it back up. Probably felt like Sheldon was too aggressive, but Parker said, because of that corner being off camber, you're wanting to turn the wheel, but you can't, because if you do, you're going to spin out from just lacking rear grip.
But the guy that really has gotten the payoff in all of this is Sam Mayer. The outstanding effort in stage 1 to get to second. Yeah. And despite the fact you lose the track position after running it long, here he is riding third as we're right at the middle point of stage 2. He is really, really having an awesome afternoon.
Well, he's another one of those guys, Parker, that reminds me of a Connor SVG, where he'll have some good short run speed, but it's the long run speed that really pays off for him, as these runs, like 10 laps at COTA doesn't sound like a long time. It is an eternity inside of the car and how long the laps are.
What I think is different about what I'm seeing from Sam Mayer this year, as opposed to I looked at some of his other road courses and the ones he's won, is that normally he shows up towards the end. And he's around the front, but when he really comes online is towards the end. I lost 2 races to him in that sort of fashion, so I know it well. But I think, he's definitely, he was my pick earlier today, because if it wasn't going to be SVG or Connor Zilich, to me, one of the best road racers in this series is Sam Mayer, and he's showing that here today.
4 of his 8 career wins have come in road course competition. And you talk about saving the best for last. I just rewind to Saturday night at Atlanta. Starts on the pole, has a tire issue. At one point is 3 laps down, takes a wave around, gets a couple of free passes, and ends up finishing 7th. Really saved what could have been a major disappointment for them on Saturday, and very much in the game today. And Sammy Smith fell back at the beginning of this race after qualifying in the top 10. But Corey Shea, his new crew chief this year, who won a couple of times on the road last year with that 9-car Junior Motorsports, calling a good strategy. They decide to flip the stage, they get track position, and he's second now behind Shane Van Gisbergen. We'll take you side by side. Top 5, SVG, Sammy Smith, Sam Mayer, Austin Hill, Brent Crews. It's the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series from COTA. Inside of 10 laps to go, so over halfway home, stage 2, Circuit of the Americas for the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Shane Van Gisbergen leading by a second and a half in front of Sam Mayer, who was able to scoot by Sammy Smith. Hill and Love complete the top 5. Love in the top 5, getting by Brent Crews, who's now 6th. And here's that race for second.
This has become one of the best passing zones on the track. You kind of catch the guy sleeping right there into turn 6. Sneaks inside of him. Sammy lets him go. And Parker, I didn't think you were crazy when you picked Sam Mayer in the pre-race.
You did a little.
But it's looking better and better here.
With a little crazy look in your eye.
His lap times look good. See if he can do anything with SVG.
Like I know what I'm talking about or something, you know?
Well, they've really played it well. It's kind of the best of both worlds. You run it long, stage 1, get the stage points, and now you have the track position to give you some options at the end of stage 2. I referenced the fact that Jesse Love, last year's champ, made his way into the top 5, passing Brent Crews. He's doing something that's going to break his record here. He had 2 races here, 2 6th-place finishes. He went from 6th to 5th. I mean, what's he doing? The driver of the 2, though, having a real good day and doing double duty this weekend.
Well, and he's listening to what Danny Stockman and his spotter have been telling him throughout the race, because as I watch the lap times, the 2 car of Jesse
Do not
Love.
flip it. I agree, unless you have clean air. If you've got clean air, tires don't matter as much, but if you don't.
He's done a great job lap time wise. He's been top 2 or 3 as you hear them talking that tires maybe not as important as what we've seen in the past. They feel like clean air is maybe worth more than the tires.
And that's been a discussion as you see some of those newer asphalt patches around here. It's sort of a discussion of what the actual tire wear is here. Last year it wasn't as bad as we'd seen in the past, but some people thinking, hey, this track has a whole nother year of wear on it. Maybe it will have the same fall off that we've seen. So that's been a question mark for a lot of the teams as we go on board with Brent Crews here, who fell back from the lead. He's settled into a solid position here in 6th. Still, overall, a very impressive day, to get to the lead the way he did in his first start.
Well, and still right in it. I mean,
absolutely,
at 6, you kind of everything stabilized, and you got good track position.
Well, I find that the tire discussion super interesting because this track is very fast. Obviously, the S is flowy, a lot of speed, but there's a lot of slow corners here, and there's a lot of acceleration that you have to have. And tires, if you don't have rear tires, you cannot accelerate out of the corners. There's so much lap time to be made up there.
Hey, and no! That's Gisbergen, I believe.
I was waiting on Parker to say it.
Yeah. Off
That's
track.
A huge hit right
Had
there.
the big spin earlier, but here in the gravel into the tire barrier.
Where is he at on the track?
I believe it's turn 2. Yeah,
turn 1.
Yeah.
Well, you got to think that maybe a brake issue
Something.
to wreck right there. Something broke.
And we just now get the caution. We had stayed green, but the caution comes out here. First caution of the day for an incident on track, second overall of the afternoon, had the yellow flag that came out to end stage 1.
Yeah, I figured that would be turn 2, just the way he was in the tire barrier there. Just that's such a high speed part of the track, but to end up there, I think you're correct, and there had to be some sort of issue to be that far off the track in turn 1.
And what does this do to impact strategy? Going to be 5 laps to go in the stage when they come around.
So
Shane Van Gisbergen leading, and here's what brought out the yellow.
Oh, yeah. High rate of speed. Ooh. Definitely some sort of issue there, maybe a loss of brakes.
We'll see what happens when we return on CW. Closing on the end of stage 2 at COTA, it's the perfect time to fuel up with Arby's new $7.99 meat and 3 box. Arby's is giving you a whole lot of food with a classic roast beef or a crispy fish sandwich and 3 delicious sides. That's more meal for your money. Scan the QR code to order now in the Arby's app. Arby's, we have the meats. Pit road's going to open here. And we'll see how everybody, manages this. But I would guess if your plan was to flip the stage, you bring in here under caution, and the front runners are doing just that. Progressive Pit Road, the place to be. Shane Van Gisbergen leading everybody down here, Kim.
That's right, Adam. SVG at the point at road course he has yet to win at. It's funny, though, despite it being statistically one of his worst, Philip Bell, the crew chief, said, I'll take Shane at his worst road course over anyone else here. The only feedback he's given his team is it's awesome. So Shane Van Gisbergen happy with that race car. You see Austin Hill, the 21 on the left of your screen, just lacking rear grip, Dylan.
Sammy Smith just asked for more front grip. If they could not affect the balance at the rear of the car, they'll change 4 tires and fuel. Sam Mayer as well was really happy with his race car, said it was a little bit tight in the center, but really solid in general. Drove from 13th to 2nd. They wanted to get it full of fuel, and he beat everybody off pit road.
#1 pit stall has been huge for Sam Mayer. Dylan said it. He beat everybody off Progressive Pit Road. Van Gisbergen goes to 2nd. +1 for the teammates at RCR, Austin Hill and Jesse Love. Sammy Smith lost a couple. You see the rest of the top 10 as the #1 continues to sit, and they work on that Chevrolet for Connor Zilich. 8 cars do stay out here. And so that had to really make things interesting on this restart.
So much on the restart, yeah. Be a big discrepancy in speed when the amount of grip these guys have, and if you're Mayer or Quapple, somebody that's already pitted, you're going to want to get as much track position as you can to get in front of those guys. So this will be fun to watch.
And we'll get a good visual of the difference in old tires versus new tires.
That's right.
Let's get a replay brought to you by Progressive. Save when you bundle motorcycle, RV, and boat insurance. Visit progressive.com. First caution for a problem, second of the day. Hard hit for Baltazar Gisbergen, who slides up through the gravel in turn 1. He gives the thumbs up as he walks away. NASCAR on the CW is brought to you by Golden Corral. Golden Corral honors our nation's heroes. Progressive Insurance. Get in the savings lane today. Visit progressive.com. And by the Credit One Bank, NASCAR American Express card. Back at COTA, getting ready for the restart. Time for the Freeway Insurance Choose, where every lane choice can change the race outcome. I had said going to break, 8 drivers stayed out. Preston Pardis came in. So the front 7 have now stayed out. The one you probably put an asterisk on there in row 3 is Justin Allgaier, because while he stayed out here, he had already made a pit stop under green. And for all those drivers that just pitted, the big question mark now is, can you make it all the way on fuel? We know those guys in the front 5 or 6 are going to come down the pit lane when the stage ends. Let's get an update from Kim Kuhn.
Yeah, let's give you a little bit more information on Justin Allgaier running in that 7th position, one of the guys that stayed out, but he did, like you said, pit under green on lap 32. That was an unscheduled stop. They had a loose right front wheel that they had to come fix. They do plan on stopping again before the end of the race. They have to put a spacer in somewhere, and they also said, stopping on lap 32, we are not going to be good on fuel.
Right, so they're going to go for the points here, obviously, to finish the stage, which is going to help them out a little bit, and then just sort of make all those adjustments under the brake, and then hopefully reassess in that sense.
He's in the worst position, though, to go for the points, because he's the last car on the worst tires. Everyone behind him has better tires. It's a very vulnerable position to be put in, and no driver wants to be there.
And one thing to keep an eye on from the start and the restart, we've seen the outside here where Brandon Jones has been way faster on the launch, so Carson Kvapil is going to have to really nail this launch.
Great day for Kvapil going so far in that 91. Field is set for the Echo Park restart zone. Echo Park Automotive, where car buying is easier, better, and happier. Let's finish stage 2 at COTA.
Carson did an awesome job of moving Brandon Jones up the racetrack. And he's in a great position now because look at the gap he has behind him. He doesn't really have to protect. Did you see Mayer getting to the inside? Can he get it slowed down?
That's Ryan Sieg in the 39. Haven't said his name today. Playing strategy, trying to steal some points. Allgaier hanging on as Mayer goes up to 2nd behind Kvapil.
And that is not what Kvapil wanted to see. A car on new tires that just pitted right behind him. That's going to be incredibly tough to hold off as they all try to funnel through the S's.
Yeah, and we talked about Justin being maybe in the worst position. Look where he is now in 3rd. Got a little bit of a buffer from some of those guys who have fresher tires. Ooh, on the outside right there is not where you want to be. See Chastain going to try to get to the inside of Sammy Smith. I can't believe we've made it through those S's all day long on these restarts with no issues yet.
Haven't made it to the final stage yet.
Fair. Fair.
For the lead, Sam Mayer looking to get after Carson Kvapil here.
Well,
Allgaier waiting in the wings, coming to the final lap of the stage.
And Sam just got so much more grip here. Basically drives around the outside there, 14. Takes the lead here to 15, and Justin Allgaier is going to try and follow him on through.
And Carson Kvapil, he's in a perfect position to score massive points. Don't run it right here by chopping somebody off or protecting too much. You want to get all the points you can.
I just love the attitude of Allgaier. I mean, things have not gone his way, but he stays in it. New crew chief this year, Andrew Overstreet, trying to maximize these stage points again. Off of turn 20, there'll be 1 lap to go, stage 2. Allgaier slides by Kvapil in 4th right now. Shane Van Gisbergen, who's been outstanding in the 9.
And Kvapil's done a great job here of getting past the cars with newer tires and not giving up a ton of time. To your point, not cutting them off, not being too defensive. You got one more here, and then you might be able to slot in and take a haul of points in this stage.
Absolutely. You got SVG right behind you. Don't fight him too hard. If he gets inside of you, let him go and take what you can get right here.
Another driver doing a great job on this restart, Jesse Love, 5th on the board, but he'll cycle closer to the front once drivers make pit stops at the end of the stage. Riding with Brent Crews next to the 27 of Jeb Burton.
Wow, great job by both those guys. To be able to manage that. It's almost as if those tire packs have made it better for the drivers going through here because they know the consequences if they get into one of those.
It becomes a game of chicken, essentially, and you just have to give way if you're the car that doesn't quite have control of the corner.
Saw the 17 of Corey Day in that shot. He's enjoying a nice afternoon. As Van Gisbergen goes to the inside of Kvapil for position. That's 3rd on the board.
Yeah, Carson's so vulnerable in that corner. That's exactly where the 7 got by him earlier. See if he can maintain here with SVG on his outside.
It's fighting back.
Yeah, good little drive off the corner here. He's going to be on the outside. not the preferred position, but we have seen some momentum be on the outside. See how aggressive Shane is, knowing that he's going to pit, knowing he doesn't need points.
Quapple got 5 points in stage 1. He wants a bunch up in stage 2.
Great job holding them off there. Now if he just protects into 20, see if Shane gets the inside.
Jesse Love there as well. Racing forward inside the top 5, coming back to the green and white checkered flag. Stage 2 complete. Sam Mayer in front of Justin Allgaier. As we have trouble off of turn 20 and 2 drivers that had spent a lot of time in the top 15, Nick Sanchez and Dean Thompson. Quapple ends up 3rd in the stage. Jesse Love gets Van Gisbergen for 4th.
Great job by Carson Quapple there to hold on older tires like that, hold off one of the best in the world at this type of racing, and Shane Van Gisbergen over those last couple of corners to get that amount of points. Awesome.
And Jesse Love putting the pressure on SVG, I think, helped Carson out a little bit. You see these two got together in the last turn.
And that turn 20 is really slippery as you get down to the apex. It's easy to overcook it. Kind of looked like maybe they were side by side as they went off that braking zone.
Maybe a little wheel hop.
Yeah, a little bit of that. And it's an awkward corner. There's more grip in the braking zone out on the paint than there is on the actual asphalt.
And this is after we had taken the caution flag and gone by the green and white checker. Sanchez and Thompson.
Wanted to rearrange fenders there and send a message of displeasure.
You know how Dean Thompson trains.
I've heard.
Yeah.
Not a guy
like in the ring.
Yeah. I was MMA style.
I was more thinking about the physical size difference between the two than I was how he trains.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Caution out, wrapped up stage 2. I'll tell you, these first 2 stages have been really entertaining, and a lot of give and take, and a lot of different names have continued to circle around. But the guy that in my mind has been the most impressive is Sam Mayer. You think about where they qualified, his rally late in stage 1 to get by Allgaier and pick up the additional point, what he did once he lost the track position after the pit stops, and then what he was able to do here late in stage 2 to get the stage victory.
It's his not first played out the way we expected it to.
Not at all. And I think that's going to make for a good finish. Mayer, 8 career stage wins in his 3rd on a road course. Beautiful day in Austin, Texas. Our aerial coverage today brought to you by GovX. Is massive. It's beautiful. It's awesome. And the competitors have delivered today. 2 stages down, 1 to come for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. And I really feel like we got some special stuff on the way when you think of the balance of strategies and who's done what so far. Progressive pit road going to be open here, and those drivers that did not come down just before the end of the stage will come this time, and led by Justin Allgaier. Kim, you said he couldn't make it. They're coming in now.
Yeah, here's that final stop we talked about, and they said, we're making lemonade out of lemons. Remember, they had that loose wheel, kind of threw off their strategy. They grabbed those stage points. Justin saying, we're going to start deep, but we will drive through the field now that the car is good. They will put fresh tires on, pack it full of fuel. On the right hand of your screen, you see Carson Quapple in the 91. He said, free on power, down carrying, roll speed, just a small air pressure adjustment, Dylan.
And Connor Zilich's brake issues continue to worsen, and they're going to have to make a major repair here on the left rear of the 1 car as he works his way down pit road. Basically what had happened over the course of that run, the left rear brake rotor had sheared and it damaged the hat as well on the brake rotor, which is basically something that just goes over the rotor to kind of keep debris and dirt and dust and everything from getting into the rotor. So that's what you see the crew doing right now. They'll jack up the left side of the car, and they have a new rotor and hat on the wall. So once they get the old damaged parts off, they will put the new ones back on, make sure it's got enough fluid and everything else in it. Their alternative to this was basically to, as Rodney said, pinch the brake line, which would give him no left rear brake. So I'm sure this is probably the more preferable solution for Connor. And he's still on the lead lap, so maybe we'll see a good run up through the field from the 1 here to close this one out.
Finished outside the top 5, talking about Connor Zilich.
Well, you know, and he's done a lot of endurance racing. In those cars, you do brake changes, but there's quick disconnects and everything. You don't see this often in an O'Reilly Series NASCAR stock car.
Sam Mayer leading when we go green in the final stage at COTA. Back at Circuit of the Americas, time for our Golden Moment, brought to you by Golden Corral. A little Connor Zilich, a little Shane Van Gisbergen. Qualified on the front row, two of the best all time when you talk about road racers in NASCAR. Right here, a little bit of an issue. Zilich going to have to come from behind today.
It seems like they've gotten those brakes fixed, Adam. 22 laps to go. It's going to be fun to watch him try to drive back up through here. I don't know if he can get to the lead, but I wouldn't totally count him out yet.
And if there's anyone who knows the value of a good crew, it's the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. That's why they want to put the spotlight on the pit crew members that are essential to a race team's success. Kim?
Yeah, we talk a lot about rookie drivers, but what about rookie crew members? Meet 18-year-old Emerson Molesky, a tire specialist and road mechanic for Sam Hunt Racing. He caught the racing bug after attending his first race at Michigan at the age of 9. Years later, though, when he was 16, he got the opportunity to work for a family-friend sprint car team, Webster Motorsports, learning the ropes as a tire specialist. You see that great photo right there. But it was a chance meeting with a pit crew member at RFK's Fan Day in Charlotte in 2024 that would change his trajectory. He kept in touch with that crew member and last summer started attending pit crew practice as a rear tire changer with RFK every other week. Now listen to this, still living at home in Gaines, Michigan, that means he did a drive one way to get there that was 10.5 hours. He did that every single time, every other weekend for months. He did that, learning as much as he could. And every time he was in North Carolina, he stopped by other shops to introduce himself, visiting teams, including Sam Hunt Racing. When they expanded to 2 cars, he was the first one that they called. So people say chase your dreams. Fun to see what Emerson is doing chasing his.
It's a great story. Got to be hungry. People always ask how you make it. Yep, there you go.
I was just going to say, all the time I get people reaching out.
What
How do I
have
get
to
into
do?
racing? What do I want to do? You got to sacrifice and go after it with everything you got.
Number one key to success is passion. 11 drivers pitted. They restart from 20th on back. The best in that category, Carson Quapple. He's 20th. Out front, Mayer and Love. We're heading to the Echo Park restart zone. Echo Park Automotive, where car buying is easier, better, and happier.
Looks like those 2 RCR cars are hooked up. A little bit of a push from the 21.
Sam tried to go to the inside to protect a little bit early on, not give draft, but it didn't quite work for him as he stays the inside. He is going to clear and keep the lead.
You want to be in control. Mayer's got it.
Yeah, it's so far around the outside. The 2 is in a good position, but that distance is so far. You see Van Gisbergen is behind the 2 car in that purple number 9.
Oh, Brent Crews got really sideways there.
Yeah, those 2 bright green cars racing together. Brent Crews, who's 17, and behind him, a driver who's won here in Cup 32, Ross Chastain.
Saw Brent get protective right there on the entry to 6. Saw Ross pass a few guys earlier in the race right there. Oh, then the curbs up over it.
How about William Sawalich in the 18? Dinged on the opening corner of the opening lap, and he's inside the top 10.
Gosh, I see so much blocking going on right now in these restarts. Guys trying to protect their position. It gets down to the end. People just don't tolerate that. That's why we see so much contact. William is working over Corey Day. The car's beat up, but it's still really quick.
Corey Day's had a great afternoon as well. Taylor Gray in that mix, and now the battle for the race lead. Jesse Love is there with Sam Mayer, and right behind him, Shane Van Gisbergen. 3 wide, turn 18. This is unbelievable. Engine number 9 back on point. It's Circuit of the Americas. Give it to Shane Van Gisbergen.
Where did SVG come from through that whole sequence right there? You had the 2 leaders side by side. He just sort of let them do that slide out and went to the inside. That was incredible.
Do you get the feeling he's just been laying in the weeds a little bit? It's like Mayer's kind of taking control. He owns the race, and just when you need the top spot, SVG goes and gets it.
Well, don't count Jesse Love out, because I thought both he and Mayer had some of the best lap times earlier. As we get another look at this, you see Love on the inside. Those guys have to check up. Shane's licking his lips behind him because he can see what's getting ready to happen. Shoots it to the inside and carries the momentum.
Yeah, Jesse just overcooked the corner a little bit there, trying almost to move out Sam Mayer. When he did that, he opened up the preferred line for SVG, and Shane said, "Thank you very much. I'll be taking the lead."
Sammy Smith is now 3rd. Looks like he's maybe holding up Mayer a little bit. Mayer pulls out of line coming to turn 12. Right behind them, Austin Hill, who's got a great average running position here today in the 21. Then it's Brent Crews in the 19.
They are struggling right now. He looked so good early in the stage, or the last stage. It looked like he had the best car in the longer run, but really struggling to get here. You got to wonder if they made a bad adjustment. The tires just not agreeing with the car.
Yeah, well, a cycle on the tires, of course, can, you know, have adverse effects. Also, how well did you clean them up there when you came to the restart? You start to get knocked out of your rhythm a little bit. It's hard at this place to get back into that rhythm as you're sort of getting swamped from other cars getting beside you. Oh, Ross Chastain super sideways there. Oh, another contact there.
Yeah, maybe he got help
Corey Day,
because he's kind of repaying Corey Day here.
Yeah.
These two dancing off the corner. Taylor Gray right there with him.
Across the grass.
That's a real fun part of this racetrack. Turn 19, sliding wide up to turn 20.
And when you go that wide, you saw both of them clip the grass coming back to the racetrack. You got to at some point get back to the actual racetrack. They did it so late. It's Austin Hill. The inside here is Sam Mayer.
This has just been such a good racetrack for both these drivers. 4 races, 4 top 10s for Mayer, and Austin Hill with 3 top 5s, including a couple of runner-ups.
Yeah, and Sam looked like he was struggling, but it's got it back under control here. Get a look at the Corey. Oh, look at Ross, how loose he was. Corey Day shoots the gap when Ross opened up his entry trying to make the apex of the corner. This racetrack just leaves you so vulnerable in so many different places because of how many switchbacks there are.
Yeah, Ross was like, hey, it's tough to slow down for the corner when I don't have my tires on the ground.
Now our Powerball power movers, guys moving up since the restart. Plus 10 for Zilich. We talked about the issues for him, but now that they've got him settled down, we knew he would be driving through. And Carson Kvapil, you know, he ran it long, made the pit stop, was 20th, but best of those drivers that had made a stop at the end of the stage, he's plus 9 and knocking on the door of the top 10. All Geyers up there, the same for Nick Sanchez.
And it doesn't matter if it's at the front of the field or here just outside the top 15. Brendan Poole and Blaine Perkins, a little bit of contact down to 15. Hip checks. There's no safe place on this racetrack in a NASCAR road race. You will find some contact if you're racing around others.
Looks like they've got the brakes definitely better.
LeVar Scott spun around there.
The 1.
Off at 19.
Zilich able to get by his teammate Brendan Poole, moved the 1 up to 17th in the running order.
The one good part about this track is there's so much runoff, you know, no gravel on the exits, that if you do have an issue, as long as it will crank, you can get it going again. See right there, LeVar Scott, a victim of that.
Well, that's what I said early when Zilich got dinged on the opening lap of the race. Just stay in the game because you never know.
I think he checked up, LeVar checked up, so he didn't get into Jones, and then got run over from behind. Kind of the accordion effect.
Ryan Sieg and Alex Labbe got a little bit of damage there in the 0 to his hood when they sort of checked up at the center of the corner.
Watching Brandon Jones here, who's 21st. He's the worst of those drivers from Joe Gibbs Racing. And, you know, the coaches' kids at Daytona had 4 drivers, all DNF in the season opening race, but they got 3 Toyotas in the top 10 here today.
Yeah, in practice, it seemed like all those guys were having issues with the brakes. You know, all the Gibbs cars were complaining about that, but it's working out for him in the race.
Let's go to radio. Jesse Love second with 18 to go.
All I want you to do is run enough pace to run second, okay? I feel like you have a better car than him. Make him burn his shit up.
Well, it's optimistic.
Well, that's what you want your crew chief to say, yeah. But listen, I referenced this a second ago. Earlier in the race, the 2 had top 2 lap times, top 3 lap times, even when Connor and Shane, all those guys were out there. So they've had really good pace the entire race. It's just so hard as we sit and watch this to know how hard is the 9 car pushing right now.
That's
you just don't know, like, is he playing with you? It does seem like he's been vulnerable today. I mean, before this last stage, we thought Mayer had the best car, so the race has not played out like we expected for it to.
Shane has looked slightly human, you know, which is unusual to say watching him at a road course like this, although this is probably one of the toughest road courses for him.
This is his weakest.
Yeah, his weakest, I guess, to say. He's only been in, you know, contention to win almost every single one.
Yeah, that's right.
But he hasn't got it done, and I think, you know, that's the right thing you want to hear from your crew chief. You reference as Carson Kvapil goes the inside of Ross Chastain here.
This puts him back in the top 10, and he's cut the field in half since the restart. Here's something else to think about. He made his pit stop at lap 42. Everybody in front of him flipped the stage, pitted at lap 36. If fuel mileage becomes a thing, 91 is in the best position of anyone.
I have to think that when the day started, if you could have told Carson he's going to run the top 10 all day long, get the stage points that he did, he'd be thrilled with that.
He's got 13 stage points. I mean, it's remarkable what that team has done here today. He gets by Ross Chastain, and you know, Raja Carruthers had a great day, and give some love to the 87 Austin Green, who's right there looking at a potential top 10 spot.
Raja was about as far out in 15 before you get to the gravel there. that's further than anyone had been most of the day. But for Carson Kvapil, you know, he came in here with a ton of confidence. Think back to last year, he was in contention to win this race up against Connor Zilich until he had that tire go down that he was locking with the right front. So when we spoke to him yesterday, he felt a lot of confidence coming here.
It's a great track for him. It's obviously
got a pole in the Trans Am before.
You know, Mayer, we saw it there in the graphic, got the most stage points today. Allgaier continues to be a stage point machine. And Brent Crews up to 5th. Talk about the fact that he's going to miss 4 races early and how important points are to them. In position for a top 5, it would be an incredible debut for this 17-year-old.
Well, and I think what's impressive about this is that he's gotten better all day long, and that's what you want out of a young guy. Continue to get your car better, give good feedback. Don't tear your car up. He had a little altercation earlier on, I think with Sheldon Creed, but he's done a really nice job of putting himself in a great position. 16 to go.
It's time to go full throttle with Sound Gear. No commentary, just pure racing. Wherever sound is a problem, Sound Gear has the solution. Scan the QR code to head to soundgear.com to learn more.
That 19 was a game.
"16 laps to go for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. It's Circuit of the Americas. You're watching the action live on CW. Shane Van Gisbergen in the lead, takes the top spot. Little peace sign as he drives by coming off the corner. If that doesn't embody confidence on the road. We're above the action with GovX aerial coverage. GovX, savings for those who serve. 13 laps to go here at Circuit of the Americas for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Shane Van Gisbergen leading Love, Smith, Hill, and Crews. And it's a perfect time to fuel up with Arby's new $7.99 meat and 3-box. Arby's is giving you a whole lot of food with a classic roast beef or crispy fish sandwich and 3 delicious sides. That's more meal for your money. Scan the QR code to order now in the Arby's app. Arby's, we have the meats.
Corey Day is just hounding.
He's been.
Oh, he got loose right there.
That's turn 6A. Gray
Just
goes
made
wide,
the
lost a
pass.
couple of spots, going to lose 3 as Chastain comes by.
Oh, it's so frustrating when you're in the car and you're just, I just did all this work. Now we're on board with Zilich, who's making his way through the field.
I mean, as if Zilich needed any help.
Yeah.
Gray is compromised, and here comes the one, trying to get back to the top 10.
And Connor has been top 5 lap times almost every lap that he's not, stuck in traffic just like this, and even sometimes when he is. So he's flying right now.
Yeah, they definitely have the brakes fixed on the one car. No issues there, just needing some track position. I think he can get up 7th or 8th at this point.
Actually,
we don't have another
like,
caution.
It doesn't look like the brakes are working because he's just driving by everybody. He's not using the brakes here. Plus 18 since the restart is Connor Zilich. I said earlier, he's never finished outside the top 5 in a road course race at this level of NASCAR. Qualified 25th for the Cup race tomorrow. Let's go back and watch Taylor Gray.
Well, he's getting worked over by Corey Day right here. He gets on the brakes. You're going to see the car steps out. It locks up the left front. He does a really nice job of not sticking it in the gravel right there or getting into that tire barrier. Gets back on. Lost all of his momentum, though.
I got to give a shout out to Corey Day, though, in 7th right now. A really strong day. First time at COTA.
Totally. Been an epic day for him.
Been, in the top 10 most of this day. Really impressive.
Well, and now we're going to start going to tracks where he's been. He's raced.
Oh, hang on,
look out. 87, 88. Playing aggressively.
Dude, Raja threw it in there. Where are you going?
Sort of YOLO'd it a little bit.
Looks to me like Austin Green's struggling to have drive on the exit of the corner. Raja's a little bit quicker here. He's just got to get this pass set up. Oh, Taylor Gray still struggling. Zilich took Zilich a lap, though, to get by him.
Raja completes that pass on Austin Green.
Raja's having a great day.
Really good.
He had never had a top 10 finish at this level in the limited starts he had coming into this first year full time. And back-to-back top 10s to start the campaign. Collected stage points, got a stage win last week, and doing a nice job today.
Yeah, so we've talked about how tough it is to go side by side. It's really tough when you sort of throw it off in there. Way too much speed. Missed the apex curbing there on the entry of 3. Just got away with it. Almost used Austin Green to slow himself down slightly. 8 tires is better than 4.
He didn't want to be in that position after he got in it either.
No.
He was like, hang on.
And how about Sheldon Creed? He went for the spin earlier, been having some power steering problems, made a second pit stop in that last cycle, and he's worked his way to the top 15 as Austin Green off the pace.
Got some sort of issue here.
Yeah, like maybe an engine issue or drivetrain issue right there. He tried to get to, you saw him try to cut the corner and get to pit road, but he had too much.
Now you got to go all the way
going,
around.
Yeah, you can hear the engine running, and most likely has an issue with the transmission.
And that is something that historically these races at COTA for the O'Reilly Series, a lot of transmission issues. And the reason being is you watch these cars run over the racetrack and accelerate half on a curb, half in the paint, half on the asphalt. It puts a ton of stress on these transmissions, and that's sometimes the result is you'll hear of issues. Dylan.
Just give you a quick update on the 87 here with some Starkey radio communication that'll explain their issue.
Either finish the race limping it around or you're done.
I'll keep it limping. I think all I've got is 4th right now.
Yeah, and that's what it sounded like when Austin came by. You heard the engine. This is a really low RPM.
Ryan Ellis went for a ride. Kyle Sieg in the 28 trying to take advantage.
Same place that we saw Taylor Gray get loose. I think he had a little bit of help there, had a car on his inside. Shoved him out.
A lot going on in this battle. Corey Day, 17. 18, William Sawalich. 91, Carson Kvapil. And I remind everybody again that Carson is the best in regard to fuel of all these drivers up front because they ran it long in stage 2 when the others flipped it. I know it's close on fuel, and I got to believe everybody feels with the cautions they got in the exchange at the end of the stage that they're okay, but he's in good position as Sawalich tries to go by, crossover Corey Day, turn 1 to turn 2.
Corey's had a great day going, but it's fading right here.
William just
he missed the corner right there. Oh, contact. Hopefully that didn't cut a tire down, either the left rear on the 17 or the right front on the 18.
Yeah, it really tore apart the left rear fender there for Corey Day, which got away from his tire, but you have to wonder for William Sawalich what happened to his right front and possibly if that splitter could have connected the left rear tire of Corey Day. As Kvapil then slips on by through 6B.
Yeah, that 6A's turned into the best passing zone on the racetrack today. Everyone opens that corner up. If you're close, you just fill the gap on them right there, and there's nothing they can do about it.
And I think it's a slight effect of some of the tire barriers that we have this year, just sort of slowing the S's up a little bit. You saw that corner's just so tough to go side by side. We saw it with Raja a couple laps ago. I think he didn't
Corey
quite know he was
misjudged
there.
like how much speed he had going, how much he was going to clear him by.
Got a smoker
everywhere.
Sage Karum.
Oh boy.
Oh, he's had contact.
Major suspension issue.
That's going to be a caution.
Yeah, that'll be our 4th caution of the day, and 2nd for a problem on track. Nothing yet. Still green
there.
as of
Get
now.
off track here.
That is a complete
he
failure
might
of
make
the
it
left
back.
front suspension.
Broken control arm.
He's doing a great job of limping it around here, given the situation. Jeremy Clements drives by.
Staying out of the way.
9 to go in the race, and you think about what a would mean here. Get a restart right around 5 to go. Sheldon Creed getting after it late. Last week's winner up to 14th.
Connor just went by William Sawalich for 9th place.
Just ripping through the field.
Tell you what, if he gets 1 or 2 more and we get a caution,
he's there.
It's going to get interesting. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a race here.
I tell you, Zilich has just been remarkable on the comeback trail. You talk about drivers rooting for a caution, he would be in that category.
Well, he's going to get it now.
Yep. Thought maybe Karum could get back, but he cannot. Off track, sitting idle. Leaders drive by. They'll come back and see 8 laps to go. 4th caution of the afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
Philip Bell, the crew chief. He's calling the shots for that part-time effort, the number 9 for Junior Motorsports. I love it when Sage Karum comes over and runs in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Great story, tremendous background, and anytime he races on the road, he makes a splash. Unfortunately today, not the way he would have liked to make a headline, but he's someone that is really, really good at his craft when it comes to turning right and left.
And he's one of those drivers that, you know, sort of has helmet, will travel. You just give me an opportunity, find me a car, and I want to go drive it. You see him jump around to numerous different cars if the opportunity is there.
I was actually teammates with him at the Rolex 24 for a couple years. So at Ganassi, he was on the sister car that I was on. Great guy, tremendous driver. He had a shot at IndyCar, and you mentioned it. He's not a professional, right? Like, he has a day job, but gets to come out and do this, and I think he does a great job.
Ran the Indy 500 as a youngster and actually missed his high school prom to qualify. They had a little makeshift prom in the garage area at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And you said he takes his helmet with him everywhere he goes. So does Brad Perez.
Yes.
I mean, noted crew member in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, was working today on the pit lane. J.J. Yaley driving the 42, got sick, had to get out of the car. Perez gets in. So you go over the wall, then you go over the wall, get in the car, finish the race.
And he's up to 25th. He's actually been making positions up. No practice, nothing, just hops in this thing, cold turkey, middle of the race. Brad Perez is an awesome dude. Definitely one of those guys that has the helmet bag and is willing to travel, but works so many different jobs in this sport. Recently was on social media trying to get some funding and support to go do some more races. So really one of the good guys in the sport and doing an awesome job just hopping behind this car. We've had a brake change. We've had a driver change. And this is just a normal O'Reilly Series race at COTA.
And it's not over yet.
Yeah, it's not an endurance race.
It's been a great CW Sports Saturday. Had college basketball earlier, ACC. NC State loses on the road in overtime to Notre Dame. And coming up next, more in the ACC on a hardwood. Syracuse and Wake Forest. It follows us. We're all wrapped up here in Austin, Texas. I mean, there are going to be 7 laps to go, but that's really an eternity. The other thing I would say here, this caution for all those guys up front that were close on fuel allows them to save a little bit, should get them over the hump unless we have a really crazy ending and several chances at overtime.
It buys you a little breath right now. The problem is with 8 to go, 7 to go when we come back, it's a great opportunity to have a lot more cautions. And then when you get into that overtime is when guys are going to get really nervous.
And if you thought you saw some YOLO moves, just wait till we get to these late race restarts. Hold my mirror.
That's right.
Well, and I look at the board. Zilich is 9th. And what kind of ground can he make up on a late restart? And what game do you play here, you know, strategy-wise? I go back to a couple of years ago when Kyle Larson won this race, and we had a late caution, and everybody stayed out to keep the track position. He said, what the heck, we got nothing to lose. Let's come down and get tires, and drove through the field and eventually was able to get the checkered flag for Hendrick Motorsports here at Circuit of the Americas.
And it's been a discussion this weekend. How much will tires matter? You know, it talks about the different asphalt ages around this track, the shorter track than we had just a couple years ago. Do you really need the tires? I think we'll get a very good answer right here.
Well, interesting enough, the guy you see right there in second, Jesse Love, they said they didn't feel like tires were that important. His teammate, though, that's just a couple behind him, they thought they were super important. So it looks to me like they all think that they're going to be important.
Look at that. Come down and get tires. I have to say,
There's your answer.
I'm a little surprised that they all did it, but here they are, led by Shane Van Gisbergen to Progressive Pit Road and Kim.
Yeah, and we'll see the 2 hit his box shortly for service. He asked multiple times, though, for a helmet tool. Could not get his visor open to wipe the sweat from his eyes, so we do expect to see that go through the car. Hand him that. 4 fresh Goodyear tires. A little stumble right there. Sunoco fuel. And then, obviously, we have other cars on pit road, Dylan.
Sammy Smith right of the screen. Their car really fell off on the long run, so Corey Shea wanted to come in and take tires. He said, I want you on offense for this final stretch to the finish. 4 stickers and fuel for the 8.
Also think about the role that #1 pit stall has played today for Sam Mayer. He's going to get some here. Sammy Smith wins the race off Progressive Pit Road going +2. Love holds serve in second. Mayer +3 to third. Van Gisbergen leading, lost 3 spots. Austin Hill comes off in 5th. Brent Crews falls to 6th in the race off of pit road.
That has really worked out for Sam Mayer to have that first pit stall.
5 cars stay on the racetrack. Saw how close it was coming off between Love and Mayer. Well, this is going to be something. Going to be right around 5 to go when we get the green flag. Out of balance on strategy and plenty of aggression when we get it here at Circuit of the Americas. NASCAR on the CW is brought to you by KFC. It's finger licking good. Progressive. Save when you bundle motorcycle, RV, and boat insurance. Visit progressive.com. And by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people. Time to ice the cake for the O'Reilly Auto Parts series here at Circuit of the Americas. This facility, 1,500 acres. And I got a note today, 10 different countries represented here this weekend, 47 states. Coming from as far away as Brazil and Australia to watch NASCAR this weekend in Austin, Texas.
I have an important question. Ice the cake?
Yeah.
Are we baking?
Well, it's time to finish it up.
Okay, I had to work on that one for a second.
All right, so a lot of strategy at the front. Sanchez, Allgaier stay out here. You got Smith, Love, Mayer up front. Going to be an electric restart. Let's get an update from pit road down to Kim.
Yeah, you heard me talk about Jesse Love on that pit stop and him needing a helmet tool because he couldn't get the visor track. Here's more in-car communication courtesy of Starkey on the issue he was dealing with.
I can't see a thing right now, dude. The sweat is just like all in my eyes. Keep working on it. 10-4. Get yourself fixed up in there. Yeah, that was miserable, dude. Yeah, I can just imagine.
And then Stockman chiming back in one more time, asking, are you sure you are okay? Jesse says, I am good. And then his crew chief just cheerleading him, telling him he has got the car to win this race.
So that's pretty interesting. I can't tell exactly what helmets he wears, but I've had this before. If you over-tighten the bolts for the actual visor, the visor can almost get stuck, locked down, and you may have had this, Jamie, where you're sweating, you want to just have that moment down the straightaway, you lift the visor, clear the sweat off your brow.
It happens a lot.
Yeah,
like you do that sometimes every
lap. But when
lap.
that thing gets locked, like
claustrophobia breaks out.
Well, and yeah, you freak out a little bit.
Yeah, totally.
And I know exactly what he's going through, and so hopefully, I saw there he did have it up as we were under caution, so he was able to wipe that sweat away. And then
100% he won't latch it again.
Yeah, he'll keep it just a crack open.
That's right.
Because that is the worst feeling when that happens.
Right.
Most likely, he and his interior guy, whoever tightens those bolts,
have a discussion.
Will be a little bit more cognizant of exactly how tight those are.
We've done the freeway insurance choose, where every lane choice can change the race outcome. I had mentioned the fact that 5 drivers stayed out. A few of those dropped back. So the only ones up front that did not pit there are the front row, Nick Sanchez, Justin Allgaier, and one of those drivers in row 2, Sammy Smith, Dylan.
Yeah, and we told you that Corey Shea, the crew chief, wanted his driver to be on offense. He came back on the radio again and said the first one to get past this front row is going to win this race, so go hard at the start here.
Oh, yeah.
Junior Motorsports has won the last 9 races on road courses with 4 different drivers. Sammy Smith is not on the board. Could we make it 10 in a row with 5 different drivers today? Sammy's certainly in position to do it. Finished 4th in his debut at COTA a few years ago.
Well, the aggression's going to be a 10 out of 10 right now. You heard the spotters hyping the drivers up.
And Justin Allgaier there, we saw him have that right front go down.
He's had a hell of a day.
And he's on these older tires. They didn't have another set of tires, so those right sides, I think, are a little older.
Watch row 3. Sam Mayer, Shane Van Gisbergen. They're coming through the Echo Park Automotive Restart Zone. 5 to go at Circuit of the Americas.
Nick Sanchez throws a big block on Sammy Smith there, trying to cover the inside.
Sammy Smith right down the boulevard, coming up the hill. They're getting out of line to the inside. Sam Mayer going for the race lead. 4 wide. Shane Van Gisbergen is there, coming through in the 9. It's going to be SVG who leads him to the S's.
Austin Hill gets a really good run on the exit of turn 2. Is going to be in the right place in turn 3. What about SVG, though?
He
laid back just a little bit. Did the exact same thing we saw earlier in the race.
Sam Mayer was in perfect position, but just completely overcooked turn 1. Went way too far out wide.
Connor Zilich was outside the top 10. He's up to 8th and gaining ground. A couple of young drivers from Toyota racing for position. Crews and Zilich.
Just behind them as Nick Sanchez was leading there as we came to the restart, back in 11th outside the top 10 in just half a lap.
Raja Karuth hanging around trying to get another top 10. Been a great day for the 91 of Carson Quapple. He's right there as well.
Yeah, Carson's found himself in a good position right here. He's had a great day. 5 laps to go to get a great finish. See if he can get a couple of more positions right here.
This is when it gets tight here. The tires squealing. Everyone's pushing right now as hard as they can when you're bunched up like this. Oh, contact!
Watch Shane Van Gisbergen right here. Does that huge crossover. You see he gets his car slowed up. Mayer gets in a little deep. Shane gets turned, pointed on the throttle. Goodbye.
Sam had the rears locked up for about a quarter of the braking zone there as they went
Quarter of a mile.
Yeah, he was trying. You could see the car got a little sideways. He was trying to stop, and he just, to no avail, could get that thing slowed down, and Shane slipped right on by.
How about with 4 to go? Shane Van Gisbergen just ran the fastest lap of the race. On board Connor Zilich, who's 7th now.
What about the guy two cars in front, Corey Day? Really no road racing background at all, and we see Harrison, hang on.
Don't get hit.
That is incredible.
Wow.
Harrison Burton going for a slide. Ryan Ellis bouncing around.
I think that's who Jeremy Clements got into, the left rear there, Ryan Ellis, as they went.
Mayer is there. Quapple, all these drivers racing up front, and Raja Karuth. That's 6A.
It's heartbreaking for those guys.
So close to an unbelievable finish, and so many drivers on the lead lap. You will pay a huge price for this.
It's like they're all going to get going right here. I think it's going to bring a caution out.
Yeah, it depends if that barrier there maybe needs to be repaired.
Oh, I think Mayer just overshot that corner. We'll take a look at that and see exactly what happened.
Corey Day continues the climb.
Wow, what a
and he's
day.
bringing Connor Zilich with him. That 17 car is just magic at this place. Larson won in it a couple of years ago. 2 runner-up finishes for William Byron. And today, Corey Day is the man on the move.
Connor's made a tremendous recovery. Had to go to the back because of the brake issues they had. Slowly worked his way up. Obviously, these guys are a little quicker. We're going to look here at see Harrison Burton, a little bit of contact from Taylor Gray. He's along for the ride now, just sitting here. And these guys behind, the way the spotter situation is, happens so quick. So many blind spots around the track.
Yeah, it's 3-1. Let's take a look at Sam Mayer down into 6A. Oh, just loses the rear, overcooked it. Gets into the barrier, stopped. Now it's an awkward position. Oh, we've got Zilich around.
Wow, it worked his way to the top 5, and he's got damage.
Big contact there for the 1 car.
I was just going to say, never finished outside the top 5
That's in the S's.
On the road.
That could be our first victim of the tires.
I think if we get another shot at this, he had some help. We get the replay. A lot of damage on that car. I was just going to say, if he could just get a late caution here, he had a shot at it. Here's the replay. So out of 2, heading towards 3. Corey Day gets a little sideways and just hits him in the left rear.
That's twice Corey's misjudged that.
Yeah.
In a similar section of the racetrack. See, Connor's going to get to his outside of 2. Corey looks like he's going to try to slip back in the line and just
misjudged.
Completely misjudged that again. Man, that's a fast section of the track to get spun around.
Keep rolling. You're good. See if it'll fire.
What a day.
And, you know, I'll say about Corey Day, he does a great job. He puts himself in good positions. He has a lot of speed, but there's these mistakes like this, these misjudgments that are all part of the learning process. But
and they're
really
painful. They're painful for the guys that are a part of it with him.
You've got to clean up, or you're going to make a lot of enemies. Let's take a listen to the 1 radio.
Corey Day is a hack. Absolute hack.
Well, that wasn't that. Yeah, I would say that we're with you, Connor. It's frustrating when you're on the receiving end of that, but as you said, Parker, it's part of learning, and he just needs to slow down just a little bit, right? Yep. Like it doesn't have to be a big difference. You've had an epic day. We've praised the position that he's put himself in, but you can't. He had the same issue last week at Atlanta, and you can't continue to do it every week. You can have one of those every 5 or 6 races, but you can't have it weekly.
It will come back to haunt you, and great days like this will get taken away. Jesse Love and him have a lot of contact out of turn 1.
Love up to 4th. Day falls back to 5th. Brent Crews is now in the 6th position. He's having a strong finish in his debut.
All guys are hanging on right here on a little bit older tires than these guys, but he's had He's had quite a day, and I think to be in the position he is after everything that he's went through,
up and down.
pretty solid after what he's been through.
All of that, and we're coming back to the white flag for Shane Van Gisbergen. 1.8 second advantage, and he'll be happy to see that white flag cruise around and try and find the checkers here at Circuit of the Americas.
Austin Hill trying to do the best to chase him. There's no
here,
love loss between those two right there.
1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank. Think about the dominance for Junior Motorsports on the road. Winning 9 in a row as an organization with those 4 different drivers. Chevrolet's been great as well, winning the last 15 road races in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. And you look at Van Gisbergen today, he's led 30 laps, started up front, but boy, he's had a lot to deal with, and so many times he looked vulnerable. The track that over the years has not been as good to him as some of the others.
And I think when you look at this tomorrow morning, he led 30 laps, had a great day, typical Shane Van Gisbergen day, but it wasn't. He looked very vulnerable at certain points in this race, got shuffled back, but they made all the right decisions. He did some awesome passes with no contact, shows the talent that he has.
Showed his expertise, his experience level in some of those moves and in those restarts, how calm he was. Look how clean that race car is compared to everything else on this racetrack.
He passed a lot of cars today.
He did. It's not like he wasn't put back in the field and had to navigate through them, but just once again shows how good he is at this form of racing.
He's going for his 6th consecutive win in a Cup car tomorrow on a road course. That would match Jeff Gordon for the most consecutive wins on the road at NASCAR's top level. And he's taking care of business here today. Turn 19 to turn 20. He'll make the left-hander and see that checkered flag. From Auckland, New Zealand, king of the road, Shane Van Gisbergen wins it at Circuit of the Americas.
Big drift off the final corner. That's classic SVG stuff. If you grew up watching him in supercars, he used to do that often to celebrate his wins. That's pretty cool.
3rd runner-up finish at COTA for Austin Hill, who continues to impress at this place. Sammy Smith comes home 3rd, his 2nd top 5 of the year.
Excellent job, Shane.
Reigning champ Jesse Love, another top 10, and back-to-back top 5s for Corey Day. And I referenced the top 10 for Jesse Love because he's been top 10 in every race this year. Hasn't won yet, but our defending champion doing everything he needs to do to put himself in position to make it 2 in a row. Look at the top 10. Crews ends up 6th. William Sawalich, after damage on lap 1, finishes 7th. Allgaier went through it all, was in the top 10. Same for Chastain, and Brennan Poole comes home in the 10th position.
That's a great run for Brennan Poole, Alpha Prime. That's a huge day. Just a year ago, this was a really bad weekend for them.
Their worst.
Yeah, man, cars missed the show. Get a good result here this year.
How about 6 different organizations inside the top 10?
A lot of surprises today because we prepared for the race this morning. It's just not what we expected. We expected to see Shane or Connor get to victory lane, but not the process that we saw.
Sam Mayer, who was there late, had that issue down to 6A, finishes 14th. Won stage 2, had a bunch of points today in the stages. Doesn't quite get the payoff at the end.
And Jamie said some surprises today. Some good, some bad, right? I mean, you had some guys that we felt like would really perform that didn't, and a few of those that pulled a bit of an upset here today. And a number of drivers who had great runs going and unfortunately just couldn't finish the deal. And now it's time for the victory celebration, brought to you by KFC.
Burn that some.
career win number 5 for Shane Van Gisbergen, 3 for Colleague, 2 for Junior Motorsports, the last coming in July at Chicago. For JRM, that's win 106 all time. Hit the century mark in July at Indianapolis. Got the rugby ball waiting. This is his celebration. Sign it and punt it into the stands.
Need to have the helmet off first.
There's a lot of pressure, I feel like, when they give you the ball.
Yeah.
After you've been sitting in the car for a few hours, a little tight.
Most physically demanding part of this sport, road course racing.
Adrenaline will take over. It's probably a long kick here.
He's had practice.
He can't even get the lid off the pin. He's not worried about kicking the ball.
Oh!
The only thing,
redo.
Man, why did we show the result
all day? He's not going to be with the Texas Longhorns next year, that's for sure. Down to Kim Kuhn.
In his defense, it was a long kick. It was a good kick, but there was a far way to go. We'll have him in after. Fifth road course win in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. But first, Dakota, this track has eluded you. How satisfying is it to take the checkered flag finally here?
Yeah, good to finally execute. We had an awesome day. Thank you to Safety Culture, Junior Motorsports. Pit crew was awesome. You know, the strategy worked out well, and I wondered what was going to happen on that last restart, and I kind of sucked the 41 in, and he took everyone out for me, so that was cool. Yeah, what an awesome day. Good to finally win here, and hopefully we can have a good day tomorrow.
All right, let's talk about tomorrow. How much does this help here today? What do you have the Cup field tomorrow?
I did learn a bit. I tried some things. I wasn't driving very good earlier today, and we lack in the car, but also I can be better too, so hopefully, you know, it's worthwhile doing these races, and yeah, hopefully it helps tomorrow.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
SVG, a winner here finally at Circuit of the Americas.
Let the chants begin. SVG, Shane Van Gisbergen. So good in this format. And as Kim talked about in the past, this place kind of gotten away from him, but he came to play today. Qualified on the front row, leads 31 laps and drives off to career win number 5. He'll go for the sweep here tomorrow. More post-race reaction from COTA coming up next on CW.